the decision to come to Arkansas, okay? There's a lot to be going through at that age.
Yeah, no, for sure.
How'd you figure it out?
It's super tough to make a decision like that at 18 years old, but I just like kind of look back on it, like I've just like developed and gotten so much more mature here, like just like how to handle adversity, how to handle failure, and that's something that you don't really go through in high school. And so, you know, I think this was the best option for me.
Peyton Stovall, a name to Arkansas fans that means a two-time captain, a defensive double play machine, and a lively bat.
That ball driven to right, hit well, towards the building, up on top, goodbye!
But Hog fans knew Stovall's name before he arrived on campus. For Hog fans, he was almost the one who got away.
I had a really good senior spring, and then it just kind of took off. I remember like having like some scouts and stuff coming to the games, my advisor, you know, / agent, kind of talking about there was like, you know, a chance that I could be drafted.
Stovall was projected to be a first-round MLB draft pick with a 7-figure signing bonus. But despite it all, he decided Arkansas was the place for him.
My best situation was to go to college and develop as a player and a person, and you know, I think I've truly done that.
Stovall had a standout freshman year, batting over 400 in the postseason, leading the way on the Hogs' run to Omaha.
Not fazed by much here as a freshman on the big stage?
Just playing with confidence has been the biggest thing for me.
While his career started on a high, Stovall's journey has been filled with plenty of bumps along the way.
He's done for the year. He's got a torn labrum.
After the season-ending shoulder injury his sophomore year, Stovall was primed for a return in 2024. But just 2 weeks before the season opener, he suffered a broken foot, which sidelined him once again.
I was just kind of like why me? Like I just worked so hard to come back from such a brutal injury, and the shoulder injury was season-ending, but that was like honestly probably worse, just because I was so healthy, I felt so great. And just to not be there for the first couple weeks of the season was super tough.
Stovall did return, and in a big way, leading the team at the plate in batting and slugging percentage, as well as a perfect fielding percentage at second base his junior year.
Caught, Peyton Stovall throws to second, rack him up, the inning is over. On a double play turned by Peyton Stovall.
From choosing Arkansas over a first-round MLB pick to battling back from multiple injuries, Stovall hasn't regretted his decision for a minute.
Pitches drilled by Stovall in deep right field and way out of here.
Boy, that baseball was absolutely crushed by Peyton Stovall.
Peyton, nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you.
We're outside. Man, this place has developed a little bit even since you've been here.
It has, for sure. You know, I remember coming in. It's obviously like been really, really good program even before I was here, but I felt like it's just kind of taken off, and just like the tradition, the culture, the atmosphere surrounding the program, and just the history and stuff. It's been really fun, and it's been really fun to be a part of, and you know, to play in front of these fans. So,
you know, when you were coming out of high school, you had all the options. You know, first round pick potential. You know, people talking about all the money you could sign for, all that. Just to jump ahead for a second, now that you're 3 years in and you've had a bunch of adversity, you know, with injuries and stuff, now you're 3 years into this program, you ever think back and go, man, maybe I'm not sure if I made the right call? Or how do you feel about having 3 years here, almost 3 years now under your belt?
Yeah, for sure. I think you know, at the end of the day, like it's super tough to make a decision like that at 18 years old. But I just like kind of look back on it, like I've just like developed and gotten so much more mature here, like just like how to handle adversity, how to handle failure, and that's something that you don't really go through in high school. And so, you know, I think this was the best option for me, and I'm super glad that I was able to come here and play for the Hogs and this team and Coach Van Horn. It's been super fun, man. And I think just like the biggest thing is like I've just matured so much, and that's just something that you can't really get that anywhere else.
I guess everybody's different too, but for me, I wouldn't want to miss out on having this kind of atmosphere and some of the SEC ballparks you get to play in. You know, go to the pros. I mean, it takes a while to get in anything like that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And you get to experience that while you're learning all that stuff.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's super cool to be able to go in and play at some of the places that I've played. I've actually kind of counted it up. After we get done with this, the only place that I haven't gone to would be Tennessee. So just to be able to like go to all these ballparks and stuff, and over these past 3 years, it's been super fun. It's super loud, and it's always fun to play on the road, and the atmospheres and stuff. It's also you know, it's a one of kind of experience, and something that you can't get anywhere else at playing anywhere else. And so it's been super fun.
Before we get too much further into your Arkansas journey, I want to go back. You were really athletic, still are, but played different sports in high school. Like you were quarterback, right? Did you? How long did you play those sports? Did you play them all the way through?
Yeah, so I played pretty much all the sports, like soccer, baseball, basketball, football, all the way up to about middle school. And then middle school, I just played the basketball, football, baseball. And I realized I needed to put basketball down. I wasn't very good at it. And so I just played football and baseball in high school, and I was quarterback, and I played my 3 years, freshman and junior year, and then senior year decided to step away just for baseball purposes, injury risk, stuff like that, and football, and I just focused on baseball my senior year. But I think you play as many sports as you can for as long as you can until you can't.
Yeah, why is that? What did you get from that?
I think for me, like I just think football like is just like a different, like it's a different type of like just like toughness you need. It teaches you, especially as like a quarterback, how to like manage a game. Your teammates are looking for you and what to do, and you have to know what everybody's doing at all time. And so I think it helped me ultimately make me a better leader. And I just think that overall, really just the toughness, the physical attributes that you need to have for those other sports, and especially football, it's molded me into a better player to play this game. And so it's helped me learn how to deal with failure a lot more. But you know, overall, the more sports you can play, the better. So.
You're from Louisiana?
I am.
Is it pronounced Houghton?
Houghton, yep.
Yeah. Did you go to Houghton High School?
I did. Yep.
How'd you end up a Razorback instead of like a LSU Tiger or
yeah,
something else?
So I mean, I grew up actually just always watching LSU just from being in Louisiana, and you know, I remember kind of starting to get in talks and contacts with Arkansas, and I actually never got offered or talked to from LSU, so it was a pretty easy decision to come here. But once I came up here, man, it was kind of like a slam dunk. I wanted to come here, be a part of this atmosphere, the environment. You know, play under this coaching staff and be a part of this, and it's been super fun. So that's kind of how it kind of came for me to be here.
No clue how LSU didn't offer you. I mean, you're like a projected first round pick in the draft. Maybe they just didn't think they had a chance. Do you have any chip on your shoulder about that when you play LSU at all, having grown up like that?
Yeah, for sure. There's always like just some added like. It just means like a little bit more playing those guys, and you know, we were able to come out here and you know, sweep a really good team, and LSU they have a really good team, really good coach, and it was super fun to be able to come out here and play good and in front of them and in front of our home fans. But there's definitely like a little bit more just like added, like just that chip like you kind of mentioned. Yeah,
getting to know you a little bit better here. Tell me a little bit more about how you grew up, just your family and what life was like.
Yeah, so I'm a big family guy. My parents, they support me so much, and I'm so thankful for them. I'm really close with my mom and dad, and I actually, you know, was on the phone with my dad for an hour before I came up to the field, and we just talk a lot of baseball. And you know, my dad's really more for like the baseball stuff, and when I ever need anything or something that is really important, I go to my mom. And but I have a great relationship with them. I have a younger brother who just finished up his senior year of baseball, and we're best friends, and you know, we're super close too. But I'm a big family guy. I enjoy spending as much time with them, and you know, I like to go fishing and kind of do all those things that Louisiana guys typically would do. You know, crawfish boil, stuff like that. But that's just kind of how I've grown up, and it's been pretty simple, but I've always enjoyed it.
No, that's awesome. I love hearing that relationship that you have with your dad. When did you know, and your mom, but when did you know that you were good at baseball and that this thing was like more than just I'm decent?
Yeah, so I remember Just kind of like growing up, I felt like I was never like just like the best player like in my area. I felt like I was pretty good, but not, great. And I actually remember like not even making like my 7-8-year-old all-star team. And I still remember like crying to my dad when he told me that I didn't make it. But I felt like around like 13, I felt like I just, especially with my bat, like I just kind of just added like a little bit more. I don't even know what you'd call it. Just like it just felt like different, I guess. And around like 13 or 14, I remember like having a conversation with my parents, and I was like, hey, like I think I got a chance to play college baseball. And fast forward to like another year or so after that, and I was looking at playing the SEC. And so so I'd probably say around like 13 or 14 when I really thought I had a chance at this level.
Did you say you didn't make your 12-year-old all-star team?
7-8
all-star
okay team, yeah. And that's why like I see all these kids and stuff are like doing all this stuff, and at such a young age, and it's like just go out there and like play. Like it's not like you're 8 years old, like you're not even developed, like you're not even working out yet. Like there's just stuff that like these kids are doing nowadays, putting more pressure on themselves, and instead of just being a kid. And so that's kind of like just some advice I always tell like just some adults that have younger kids that are playing ball and stuff. It's like, just let them play, let them go have fun. They'll develop. If they don't go play college, they don't. If they do, they do. So.
We all need to hear that as parents, man. Don't ever stop beating that drum, because it's just easy to get lost in that.
Oh, easily.
With your kids. How were your parents with you on that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, so I remember when I was younger, my dad was pretty hard on me when I was younger, and it was just I think he realized that like it was too much. And honestly, like around like 10, he stopped doing that, and it wasn't so hard on me. But I do think it made me a better player. Like it made me handle failure and stuff like that, and it wanted me to always just get better. And I think that's been huge throughout my career. But even when I was like 10, 11 and so on, like I would go play and talk to my parents about the game after, but it was never like, oh, you need to have 4 hits in a game, you need to go out and do good. If you go 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, you're not getting dinner. Like nothing like that. Yeah. They still love me the same, and I'm super grateful and thankful for them and how they raised me.
That's cool. Did they play sports? Where did your talent come from? Do you know?
Yeah, so both my parents, they played sports. My mom played softball in high school and basketball, and then my dad, he played baseball and throughout high school, and then he was a pitcher at Northwestern State University in Natchitoches, Louisiana, and so he had a great career there. He was a left-handed pitcher, and so he played with some really good guys as well. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Brian Lawrence. He pitched in the major leagues. He was actually in that rotation with them, and so I got my talent from both of them.
They come to a lot of games?
They do. They actually, I typically have one parent at every weekend game. It's been since my brother's been playing. My dad will stay back. My mom will come up. For them to be able to take off work means the world to me, and I can't appreciate them enough. And my mom actually drove to Little Rock yesterday when we played, and so they're very supportive, man. I can't thank them enough. And the older I get, just the more I appreciate them.
Tell me about the decision to come to Arkansas. Okay, let's go back where you're just. That's a lot to be. You mentioned it earlier. There's a lot to be going through at that age.
Yeah, no, for sure.
How'd you figure it out? I
just thought. I remember when I committed, like the whole draft stuff. It wasn't like super huge. Like I had my mindset on going to Arkansas, and then my senior spring, I had a really good senior spring. My high school senior season, and then it just kind of took off. I remember like having like some scouts and stuff coming to the games and stuff, and like my advisor, / agent, kind of talking about there was like, a chance that I could be drafted, and so it kind of kept on going on. And then at the end of the year, I just remember like just talking to my parents, kind of sitting down, weighing the pros and cons. And there was a lot more pros of going to college. You get a degree, they're both in the medical field, and so they're huge on education. And so that was a big thing, the experiences that you gain going to college, the friendships that you make, and kind of like I mentioned before, just like the development phase of playing the game, being in college and stuff. And so it was pretty hard. I prayed about it, and had a lot of conversations with my family, and ultimately thought college was the best decision for me.
It's tough to turn down what's projected to be maybe a $2 million payday.
Yeah. You know,
what was the
I
mentality that helped you get through that?
Yeah, I think that everybody's situation's different, and I just thought for me, like my best situation was to go to college and develop as a player and a person, and you know, I think I've truly done that, so I'm very appreciative of it.
Yeah, it's really kind of refreshing, and I think, you know, for all of us to learn from, like, you know, we can take the quick and now, or you can try to get prepared for something that in your mind would be more sustainable, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no doubt.
Long term, not just, hey, can let's take this money at the moment.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, the struggles, the adversity that I went through here, I was probably gonna, if I would have taken the money, I would have went through them in minor league ball at some point. So, you know, it's pretty much the same thing. But I think going to college, like it develops you faster for like when you do get drafted again, just because like you've played in big crowds, like you've played against these type of arms, and you go straight out of high school, you necessarily aren't facing these top end arms that you are. And so I think just in all phases of the game, it really develops you and to being a better player, and you know, ultimately reaching the end goal of playing in the major leagues.
And you get to enjoy these facilities, and you get to talk to all the former Razorbacks that are in the pros now and big leagues. And how has that impacted you?
Yeah, it's been super cool. You know, just seeing these guys show up every day in the off season and work, and it's been really cool to be around them. I've been around Heston and Dominic Fletcher a lot recently in the fall, and they were two great guys that I could kind of just talk to, bounce my ideas off, like approach wise and hitting wise, and so it's been really cool to see them work out in there and hit on the field and all that. And then obviously the guys I played with, Caden Wallace and Jace and Robert and all of them, it's been super cool to see their careers unfold and for them to come back and be able to spend some time with them. So
your journey here hasn't probably gone exactly like you drew it up. I'm sure that maybe that cast some doubt a few times. Like, you know, I mean, you started off at first base and you ended up kind of coming on strong. You know, fresh. Was it tough just kind of getting into the flow of the SEC and all that stuff?
Yeah, for sure. You know, coming as a freshman, like I just wanted to play. It didn't matter where I hit, where I played in the field. I just wanted to be on the field and do whatever I could to help the team win. And I struggled. I felt like I put a lot of pressure on myself, some unneeded pressure, and some high expectations just on myself, and they were just unrealistic to live up to. And so I remember having a meeting with Coach Van Horn towards the end of the year, right around the SEC tournament, and he just said, just go out there and play, man. Like, you're a great player, and there's nothing else that you need to prove or do anything to show us. Like, we know what you're capable of, and I think that really helped too. And so kind of in the postseason, I just went out and just played, had fun, and played loose.
429.
Yeah,
in the postseason.
And so I just went out and you know, I think ultimately, like, I didn't care about how I did. I just cared about how the team did, and I think that made me a better player when it came down to it. But it was definitely a tough adjustment going into, like, with the conference pitching, SEC pitching, and but it made me better for the postseason. So
yeah, and that postseason kind of springboarded you, I guess, into the next. You've always been great in the field, but like that, trying to get that pitching, man, in the SEC and dealing with that. You go into your sophomore season, and now you move to second base more. I mean, you were a shortstop coming in, but a lot of guys are. Second base seems to be your position of choice. So now you're at second base, sophomore season. You start the first 30 games, and then you get hurt.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty tough. I remember I come out the gate and, like, I was super excited to play, and kind of non-conference, like I was having a pretty good year, and right around like the last like non-conference weekend, my shoulder started kind of bothering me, and I was just kind of playing through it. And then I think like the second conference weekend against, I want to say it was Alabama maybe, I kind of took an awkward swing and I fouled a pitch off, and I just remember like my right shoulder just like there was a lot of discomfort, a lot of pain, and it didn't feel right, and it just progressively got worse. And but of course, like I wanted to play, I wanted to be out there with those guys, and it finally got to a point to when we played Texas A&M after that series where it was too painful to play through, and I just thought that, you know, enough was enough. And that's kind of when we got that MRI, and I spoke up more, and that's when it showed that my labrum was torn.
Man, that must have been tough. sitting
It was.
out.
Yeah, it was. You know, I remember like hearing the news, and it just felt like 1,000 pounds were just like sitting on top of me, just kind of like crushing me. I was super upset about it, and you know, I called my parents and just kind of told them, and but I also think like it was all on it. Like it was very upsetting for me not to play, but it was also like a sigh of relief, because like I knew something was wrong, like something was wrong and something was bothering me. But I just like I would go out there and I was seeing the ball well, like I was comfortable in the box, and I just like wasn't getting the results that I wanted to. And so you know, that was definitely like a sigh of relief kind of too, just to know that like something was actually wrong, and I was playing through something that I probably shouldn't have.
So then you recover, rehab, you're ready. Now we're gonna go into your junior year. And then what happens?
Yeah, so I feel great. You know, went through the rehab process, and me and Corey did, you know, we spent hours and hours in the training room, and I felt great. I was super excited to be back out there, and I did some live at-bats, some scrimmages, and I think it was like my second or third time being out here on the field. I take a pitch to the foot, and you know, we get the X-ray the next day, and I broke my foot, so it was kind of tough.
Dude. What are you thinking?
I was like, when is it going to end? Like when,
oh, man.
What's next? No, I remember, you know, telling my parents and stuff, and I was just kind of like, why me? Like I just worked so hard to come back from such a brutal injury. And, I feel like I've done everything right with taking care of myself. And, it was just a freak accident. And, that was honestly the shoulder injury was season ending, but that was like honestly probably worse, just because I was so healthy. I felt so great, and just to not be there for the first couple weeks of the season was super tough, just knowing how hard I've worked to come back. And but you know, I knew that the good thing about this injury was I was going to be able to come back at some point. And so I was just trying to be as supportive as I could, be a great teammate, be a great leader, and you know, show these guys what it's going to take to win. And you know, it went by faster than I thought, just showing up every day and doing everything I could. And so, you know, and I was able to get back on the field and kind of beat some time that maybe we thought we'd getting in on that last non-conference weekend against McNeese.
It's good to hear things too. Like I'll be watching a game and they're like, Peyton Stovall is probably the fastest guy on the team, or look at him go, or, you know, you're hitting up there at the top of the lineup. I mean, it feel good to have that back, like feel you.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. It's
Are you the fastest guy on the team?
I don't think so. We have like some stats and stuff that like shows like our like miles per hour, like going to first or like around the bases, and supposedly according to those stats I am, but there's no way I'm faster than like Ty Wilmsmeyer, like one of our center fielders.
It's like, different too though, right? Than like just lining up and running a 30 in baseball.
It is, yeah.
But out of the box, running the bases, jumps, turning the corner on a base, right? All of that stuff is.
Yeah, for sure. No, there's a difference. Like, and I've always felt like, you know, like if I go out there, like you have these combines and like these showcase and stuff where like you run a 60, like I'm not going to be great in a 60, but I feel like my game speed's a lot better. And that's like two different things. Like you can be super fast, like running a 60, but maybe your game speed's not good. And that just kind of feel like comes with instincts, like reaction, hand-eye coordination, just stuff like that. And so I feel like for me, like that's more of a strength for me than just like lining up on a laser and running, you know, straight 60-yard dash. So, but yeah, it's I would say I'm, I guess, pretty quick. I don't think I'm like super fast, but it's been good.
What's your this is gonna sound weird, but people talk about everybody's got a superpower of some sort. Like, what are you really good at? What do you think it is in baseball? Is it the way you think? Is it the way you hit? Is it the way you, like, if I'm giving you some ideas to get your brain around it, but what's the thing about you that gives you the confidence to go out and have success?
Yeah, I think for me, it's my ball to bat skills. I think, you know, I feel like I don't strike out a ton, and I feel like when I do hit the ball, I've been, especially this year, like I feel like I've been hitting it pretty hard. And so, you know, just trying to find barrels, I think that's kind of what keeps me going. That's a strength of me, is like, don't chase like hits, don't chase trying to go out there and try to get 4 hits in a game. Like just chase quality at bats and hard contact. And if you make hard contact, you win. Even though you might get out, you win. And so this game's hard. And so if you kind of think like that, then, you know, you'll have success ultimately in the end.
What gets you excited defensively?
I I don't know, man. I'm pretty like just in the middle. I guess I'd probably say I like when we have like a like Ty earlier in the year like robbed a home run. I think it's more cool for like a robbing of like a home run, just somebody else that does something like besides me. Like I don't get super excited like when I make a play, I feel like, but like when one of my other teammates do, like it fires me up. Just like knowing that, watching them go 100% and going all out. It's super fun to see them go out.
You guys make it look routine, turning double plays, but that's fun, right?
It is, yeah. It is, yeah. It's
you
it's
and
just
Aloy.
Yeah, me and Vahiva. We've kind of grown our relationship just playing up the middle with each other, and but it's just a testament to how hard Coach Van Horn he's worked on us and how much better we've gotten under him. So it's been good.
So what's Peyton Stovall like to do when he's not playing baseball?
I love to play video games. I love to play MLB The Show. I love hanging out with my friends. I love going to eat with my friends. I try 3 or 4 times a week to ask some guys in the locker room to go eat and hang out with them and different guys. And so, just kind of simple things, but that's kind of what I enjoy doing. You're
a team captain for 2nd straight year?
Yep.
What's leadership look like to you in that role?
Yeah, I think for me, it's leading by example. I'm not a huge guy that's like rah and gonna talk and get in your face, stuff like that. I just think like doing the right thing and playing the game hard. That's a big thing for me. Is like when I go out, like I want to play the game 100% and give it all I have, and control what I can control, and that's just attitude and effort. And so if I can control those 2 things and do those, hopefully other guys around me are seeing that and do the same thing. And so that's definitely something that I see in a leader.
What do you love about this current team? We're in the kind of middle of the season as we record this.
Yeah, I love how every game we just go out and we go out there and we just play and we don't take a game off. I feel like, maybe years in the past we'll play like a midweek against a team that maybe isn't very good, but we'll go out there and think we can just kind of cruise on in and win. I think with this team, like there's no like egos. Like we just go out there and we want to play, and we don't look at it as being one of the better teams in the country. We just go out there, play another opponent, and we want to win. And so that's something that I really like about this team. We don't take a day off. We're all involved and we're all in, and so that's it's huge for us to go out there and do that.
I was talking to one of the pitchers, and I said, it's probably pretty cool for a pitcher knowing if you keep it close, your lineup's going to probably score some runs. What's it like when you guys are struggling a little bit at the plate to get it going in a particular game, knowing you got the pitching staff that you have? Does it take a little pressure off?
Yeah, for sure. It's unbelievable what those guys are doing. I've never seen anything like it, and to be able to play for those guys, it's super fun. And sometimes I wish that we did have a little bit more pressure on us, because we need to get those guys some run support sometimes. And they're pitching their tails off and doing everything they can for us to win. And so sometimes I think we do need to help out a little bit more. But no, man, it's been great to be able to see them have so much success. And it doesn't matter who we roll out there, they just want to continue, they just want to get the ball, and they just want to do good. And so it's been cool to play behind those guys, and especially our 3 starters.
How much of a difference does it make having the relationships that you guys have with this team? I've heard it from multiple guys. You've been on good teams, but does it make a big difference that you guys genuinely feel like you feel about each other, and how does it change things?
Oh, if you don't like each other in the locker room, you're not going to win very many games out there. And talent can only take you so far, but it's just so much more than that, because at this level everybody's just as good as one another. And so there's got to be some things that kind of separate you, and whether that's chemistry or kind of team bonding. I know that kind of falls under that, but just there's a bunch of things that you have to do. But for sure, man, the closer you are as a team, the better you're going to be out here. And so we're a very close team. We're always hanging out with each other in the locker room and spending time with each other off the field. So it's been really good to kind of gel and come together with this team. And I truly believe that we are winning as much as we are because of stuff like that in the locker room.
What are Peyton Stovall's aspirations and dreams in baseball? I think I know, but I want to hear it from you.
Yeah, ultimately I wanna play Major League Baseball. That's always been a goal for me. I remember telling my parents ever since I can remember, like, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to play in the major leagues, and whether at that time I was good enough or not, like, that's what I wanted to do. And so, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the end goal. I'm gonna finish and get my education, whether I get drafted this year or don't. And so, but those two things are definitely at the top of what I want to do and the end goal for me.
So whenever your time here is over, I like to ask everybody this, and I'm assuming it's going to be at the end of this year, but you don't have to tell us. But what do you hope that Razorback fans think of you when they remember Peyton Stovall's time at Arkansas?
I hope that, fans and especially little kids they remember that, I gave them the time of the day to sign their stuff and talk to them. I remember being that little kid and going to college games and, thinking the athletes on the field were, Superman and stuff like that. And so I want them to remember me as more as a person than as a player, and how I treated, them, my teammates, my coaches, all that. And that's kind of ultimately what I want them to remember me as.